It's a hallway and front door makeover, another reno video. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, my name is Rose, my pronouns are she, her. It's actually more than a year as I'm filming and putting this video together since we started the big renovation, but at this point we are in the beginning of May, so let's hop back to there. Hello Mickey! It's time for the next step in the renovation, and that is in our hallway, which is very small. It's so small I can't even hold my phone out to film. We are making a trim along the top, and then we're going to paint the walls because look, this is all damaged from the renovation here as well. See all the spots? And then we also have this new piece here, which is the thickness of the wall now because they got insulated very well. But this is not painted yet. Also, we have to fill some holes here. Let's see if I can give you a quick circle tour because I think it's gonna be too small to film a time lapse in here. So this is the before. Also, we're gonna make this on here to close off the hole to the living room. The same one is over here on the other side, so that it looks nice and finished, even though, by the way, this wall is disgusting. If we have any paint left, we might paint this as well, because that's not very nice. What do you think, Mickey? I'm gonna make some loud noises, but it's all safe. You can stay in your comfortable bed, okay? Purring. There's just one piece that I don't know what to do with. We made this nice corner because it was open a little bit. This is connected to the window frame and there was a hole gaping. But how are we gonna put the ceiling thing on there? We can make it up to here. We can make it from there. Maybe that one can go. I don't know. I'll think about that a little bit longer as I clean out the hallway, removing all our jackets, making sure we can access all the corners and edges or whatever they're called. We have bought this wood, this little curvy thing, which we want to be on the roof. Maybe you can see it better like this. Yes. Look how pretty! So that's just gonna sit against the wall and connect the ceiling and the wall together so that it's not so holy. Very nice wood as well, not the plastic one that we use everywhere else. But we're going to have to saw this into different angles to fit all the corners perfectly. To make sure we don't mess it up, I have made a little drawing where I can draw exactly the corners it has to be and also write the measurements, so that hopefully we don't waste any of this beautiful wood on pieces that were not the right size or the right corner, because that's happened a few times to us as well, where like skirting boards or other things that had to be 90-degree connections were the wrong way. Time to measure all the pieces, which is my special skill, measuring precisely. I measured all the corners and wrote everything down, and then I measured out the first piece on the wood, drawing the right corners on it as well. And then it was time to take it to my boyfriend's saw. This is a very old, like third-hand saw that he's been using for a while. It's not very precise, but we're gonna try. It just shorted the whole system. There was a bang and a flame, and here it says that's normal. I think we have to reset all the electricity inside now as well. And I have decided we are not using this saw. Yeah, that means we can't continue. But also it means we are safe and not electrocuted or burning to death. See? All the lights are off. All the lights are off. Let's fix it. Ooh. So, since we can't continue the hallway, my boyfriend is going to fill up the holes, hallway holes, in between the new beam and the wall. I didn't get much done today, as you can see, because we didn't have the right saw. But my boyfriend is gonna order the saw online now. And we did buy a natural stone protection for the front door here, because this is not good. There's not supposed to be plaster where you step, because that's not strong. So we're gonna put the natural stone here to match the door frame as well. So that's another job to add to the list. But first we're gonna paint the front of the house for the last time in the white and maybe get a snack. Are we snacking?
First we're gonna eat.
First we're gonna eat dinner?
Dinner.
Dinner time!
Me hungry.
Me also hungry. Let's eat. After some food, it was time to grab the paints and continue working on the front of the house. Oh, gadver. Voorzichtig, want het is heel erg dun. This is what it looks like right now. You can see it turned really nice and white. And once we start painting, you'll see the difference, which makes working with this paint actually very easy. It's so much darker when you put it on, so you know exactly where you've been. And then you know when it's dried, it will be the right color that you actually ordered. So if you ever do use lime wash, don't be scared of it looking very, very dark when you put it on. Since this was the 4th layer, we started pulling off the tapes. We made a big mess, so my boyfriend is cleaning. And from pulling the tape off, there was a whole lot of dust coming down. Look here as well. All the little pieces that we will have to clean up before we paint the bottom in turquoise tomorrow. It maybe would have been better to wait with pulling off the tape until this layer of paint had dried. But ah well, you live and you learn. On to the next day. Today is the day we are going to paint a very dark color turquoise. It's not really that dark, but on the bottom edge of the front of the house. We're trying to match it to both our neighbors' sides. So my boyfriend put a little line up. The most work is probably to get this line level. I don't really care, but my boyfriend wants it to be perfectly level. So we're doing our best. Oh my gosh, that looks disgusting. Okay. It looks so green. Does it look more green than you expected?
Yep. But the white looked brown as well.
Yeah. I don't know if you're able to see with the bright sun, but it's so cool. It looked very watery at the top, but then when I stirred and poured up from the bottom, you can see bigger gunks, like thicker material. So look at that. It looks kind of gross, but also very fascinating. So we decided to give it a really good stir with the stick, and then also with the little machine that my boyfriend created on his drill. And it was fascinating. I'm leaving quite a lot of footage in because look, it kind of looks like a milkshake or something. I don't know, especially in the green. It looks so interesting. What do you think? Let's get it on the wall. Oh, je gaat meteen, joh. Wow.
Dit ook al mooi. Smoothie green we'll get.
Yeah. This was the first time that we're painting something very dark, so it was very, very fun to do this part. On this comparison photo, you can see how it dries up a lot lighter, which was already starting to happen on the tape, actually. My boyfriend really dislikes cleaning the paintbrushes, so that is my job. Oh, don't look at the disgusting sink. I don't mind it, except this stuff is a little bit sensitive to hands, so I should really wear gloves for this. I'm gonna get some from the shed. Then it was time to remove our front door. Look at this guy. Alles voor de vlog. And lift it together through the house to the garden where my boyfriend was gonna paint it. Whoa!
Fucking zwaar ook.
Had hij beter eerst eraf kunnen.
Ja.
Here's a before of the paint on the front door. You can see different colors. It's time to open the color of the door, which is called Aquamarine Mid. So a lighter version of the front of the house. Oh, let's just see. I've already shaken it a little bit instead of stirring. I thought filming this from the phone in my mouth was the best angle. I could not see at all what I was doing, so I got my boyfriend to help and hold the phone. It's very similar to the kitchen colors. Look at this.
Nice.
Nice. I need a paintbrush. My boyfriend removed all the hardware from the door, like this metal grate and our brievenbus. What is the word for that? I don't know. While I did some gardening, I couldn't really help with this, so I just started gardening randomly. Then my boyfriend sanded the door, which is always an important step to get the paint to connect properly, but I really, really hate it. This is really low for my boyfriend's back, so he's gonna move it on a little higher thing, except that thing is pretty narrow, so that I think the whole of the glass is gonna go right over that thing. There we go. Wait, let me move you. Oh, maar ga je hem nu in het gras rollen?
No.
No.
Got a little bit more to the side so I can walk around it, you know.
Okay, mate. Then boyfriend continued sanding in a much more comfortable position for his body, while I prepared the painting supplies like brushes and rollers and stuff. He ended with cleaning it with a brush and then taped all the bits that shouldn't be painted, like the hinges and the edges and everything. So much work. He changed the angle of the phone so that you can properly see what he's doing, and then the first layer of paint is going on. It is pretty similar to what was on the door already, just a little bit lighter, less gray, and I absolutely love it. This is so cool because I never saw this. I was working in the front of the house, which I will show you in a second. Quick check on the color. It's definitely lightened a lot. It still looks pretty dark. Since my boyfriend removed the front door to paint, we can now see inside the hallway in its entirety. So this is the before all the paint. Some of the corners are still very white, some are already a similar color. And the ceiling is white. And this is white also. Let's go. I removed the last bits that were still on the wall, like this coat hanger and the light switch. And then the most important part was cleaning this wall properly, which of course I didn't like, but was very important to get the paint to stick properly. We're using the same white as the front facade, but in a different paint. And this is exterior eggshell paint, which means that we can use it outside, but also inside, which is very handy. Let's open. Oh, this is not so handy with one hand. Oh, that was easy. I used the stirring stick to just move some of the paint over to the little basket thingy because I was only painting the window frames with this color. So I got comfy and started the paint job. You can see the window frames is what I'm painting. They're kind of yellowy looking, so you can really see the difference of this white paint. I was actually surprised. It looks very, very white. I took some time to tape off the thingies here because it was getting very messy. Now it should be a lot easier to paint. I hope. Sometimes I have to try something and realize that actually just taking the time to tape it off is much quicker than trying to paint around something and get super frustrated. Highly recommend to have snacks while you do DIY jobs. I finished the white parts, the window frame. It does need a second layer. I'm hoping to be able to do that later today in like a few hours. So now it's time for the hallway color, the acorn. This is a huge pot because we're also using this in the kitchen. Ooh, in the kitchen later. Let's stir and start because this was what I wanted to start 2 days ago. Here we go. Let's see the color. Woo! Basically all of it looks pretty much white, but once you see it next to white, you'll see that it's not. And that's good, because that keeps it looking stylish instead of like a children's room. This is slightly different paint. This is only for inside. Wow. That's very thick. I like it. I accidentally used the longer stick for the smaller pot. Not ideal. Ooh, yeah. Yummy. Okay, now the big difficult thing. Maybe not, because it's so thick. Okay, just go. And stop. And use the brush. Pretty good. Okay. First, I cut the corners. Also interesting to see how it matches the original color. It was pretty similar. It looked pretty dark on the ceiling, but we're gonna try it with a roller to see bigger pieces. Oh, this is so satisfying. I love seeing paint sped up. Unfortunately, I somehow missed part of the footage, so you do not get to see it all the way till the end, just to prepare your mind for it. I loosened up the light and then just decided to not cut it at all and just roll, because the walls are going to be the same color as the ceiling. I just did some cutting at the end. And that is unfortunately where the footage stops. The sun is shining, so that's great. I'm using a little cup and brush for the in-between bits. But if you look at this brush, it's not great. I want a round brush so that when I go in between the corners, it doesn't look like this. But for today, it's a national holiday. I can't go to the shops today. And my boyfriend is using the nice brush, but he's doing the front door. So he has preference over me. So we're just gonna manage with this horrible one for now. Here's a close-up of me working this process. I paint into the edges first because they are harder to get to, and then I use a roller to go over one more time and cover it all. This way the pattern looks the best as well on the paint, because a roller leaves a very different pattern than a paintbrush. As you guys probably know, my brain is very chaotic, having ADHD and being a little bit impatient, so I try to go piece by piece and keep it organized, kind of, so I knew where I had been already. Bless you. Last night, unfortunately, I dropped a plate of wood on my big toe, which I went to the doctor for and hurt a lot. Especially last night, I couldn't sleep at all. But this morning, while I was still trying to sleep, I got a few hours maybe, my boyfriend not only painted the second layer of the front of the house, he also painted the second layer of the hallway. Look at this, all acorn green. And he finished the door yesterday evening? This morning. Geert?
This morning.
This morning. So now the hallway is finished. This is our new hardstone. What do you call that? Plant. That my boyfriend is gonna make smaller. Okay. I'm using this plant sprayer to help cool down the saw blade as my boyfriend shortens it to fit our door frame. Nice. It is Belgium hardstone and apparently it's called a sill. And the front door is finished. Look at this. I don't know if the color comes across, but it's stunning. And it feels really sunny and light in here. Since our old saw kept making, how'd you say, shorting out the electricity, like making weird flamey explosion noises, we bought a new, brand new saw. Mickey! Look at this thing. The colors absolutely match our vibes. And it can do, I don't know how, but it can do 45-degree angles, which means that we can finally do the corners of the hallway, and that will finish that project. So let's get them and let's start using our new saw. Hello? Do you want some attention? This new saw has some kind of little red light, so hopefully it's going to be very precise and we don't have to redo many pieces. Let's cut it and let's move it into the hallway.
Perfecto.
Nice.
Oh.
Ha. Sorry. Woohoo! We're thinking maybe we will leave it in the wood and don't paint it because it actually looks very, very nice, in my opinion. What do you think?
Early the next morning.
This is what the green currently looks like. It dried up a little bit streaky, but that's normal. This is our setup, the paint and the brushes on a piece of cardboard. Look at the wall. It already looks so cool and nice. I love it. And then when we look up a little bit, here's me and the plants. I'm still shocked by the big difference of color between how it dries up and what it looks like in the jar and on the wall when you put it on. It's very fascinating. Here's some paint ASMR. Can you see Maggie in the windowsill looking at me? She is so adorable. I wanted to capture what the drying process looked like, so I sat in the door frame to keep an eye on my phone that was filming this. Good morning. It is the last Sunday of the vacation, and I'm going to paint the last layer of the front of the house now with the dark color. So that's really exciting. Also, yesterday I didn't film most of this, but my boyfriend finished the trim for as much as we could because we ran out of about 1 centimeter of space plus that little piece. So we need to buy another one. But I actually love the look of it not painted. So we're going to keep it in wood for now. Let me know what you think about that. Because we were planning to paint everything the same color. But now I love it. Once this last layer is done, it also means we can install the... Can you even see what this is? The hard stone thingy in the front of the door. I don't think I'll make a time lapse because you've seen this many times now, but I'm gonna go paint and I'll be right back. A few hours later and it's time to pull the tape off because we've done the 4 layers. This is so cool to watch, although I wasn't super impressed with our straight line between the green and the white here. Look at that, you see all the little blobs. But I did fix that later with a knife, so all solved. This tape on the frame was very hard to pull off because, I don't know, we used the wrong tape or something. But then the main job for the tape was this big one. Look at it go. I'm just gonna leave you with the ASMR for a little bit because it's so exciting. Oops. Here's a side-by-side of our facade before the renovation started and how it looks now. It is not finished yet. In the next video, we will be painting the window frames, but it already looks so much better, don't you think? Although I do still love the adorableness of what it used to be, but that was leaking and rotting and not sustainable. You may have noticed at the end there that the paint at the front of the house was a little bit stripy. I don't know if that's the right word. That is because I read the instructions, but by the 4th layer, I had kind of gotten a rhythm and I should have adjusted the process a little bit. This paint is very quick to be absorbed into the wall at the 4th layer. So they say to spray it wet first so it doesn't absorb as quickly. And the sun was out, so it became a little bit stripy, and it still is today. So that's a tip if you are using lime wash. Read the instructions even with the 2nd and 3rd and 4th layer as well. I'm gonna remember that for the back of the house, which we are gonna do soon, maybe? Maybe not because of winter, but we'll see. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. In the next video, we are going to be painting the big window frames in the front of the house, and there is a flood in our neighborhood, which I'll share a little bit about. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a nice comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and check out the other videos in this renovation series if you hadn't yet. It has been a huge process. They took out basically everything from our house and are rebuilding it. So the big parts are now kind of done. And today, actually, the builders are here. They just left for a little bit, but it is now November the next year. So it's more than a year and they're still fixing things. So there will be more videos in this series. Let's look at it positively. Also, we completely made over the kitchen ourselves. I'm so excited to show you that part as well. Coming up soon. Thank you. Enough chatting. Goodbye.